my crafty friends. I am here with another amazing floral springy card for you. This stamp has always been one of my favorites. If you seen my videos when this stamp set came out, probably this time last year, I think, you would know that I made several cards with this one. And here I am when we are allowed to make floral cards, pulling it out again to make a different card. So one thing I love about this stamp is obviously it is a full background stamp for an A2 size card. And you can use a little bit of it, a lot of it. The only thing that I think that would make this stamp better is if there were dies to this stamp. And though there's not many points in the middle of this where it needs to be die cut, but oh man, if we could die cut some of these flowers out, I think that that would have like made it chef's kiss, or a stencil. Actually, I think I would have loved a stencil more than I would have loved a die set for this, just because I think it would color up faster. Other than that, and I could use my inks. Other than that, maybe I need to talk to them about that. But here I am using some Versamark ink to do my background, because I am, and you're going to see me, I'm going to do this twice. Because one I am going to do in silver, and the other one I am going to stamp in black pigment ink and then clear emboss on top of that. So we're actually going to do this twice. We're going to make a bit of a I don't even know what to kind of call it, like a drop shadow colorful inlay, I think. I don't know. I'm just making up names at this point. Well, so here I am. I didn't show you the silver embossing. I am going to show you the clear embossing though. So this is my black pigment ink, just my VersaFine. Is a great pigment ink to emboss with. I love doing this when you're doing like watercolors, which is another amazing option for this card. And because it will keep your watercolors inside of your, like inside the wells, pretty much. It just makes it easier. All right, so there is that. And then, and honestly, I totally forgot to use any static powder, and it still came out pretty well. I don't think you're even going to really notice it with the clear. I probably should have used it for the silver, but I realized it with the silver and then did it again and didn't use static powder again. Like, oh, what am I doing? I've been sick for about a week now though, so just getting back into the swing of things, and yeah, losing my mind still. All right, I literally just do this on top of a piece of copy paper, guys. This one did make a little bit because I'm doing a full background, but normally it works just fine and we have no issues. But just clearing that up with a baby wipe. All right, let's watch this go all together. The power of embossing. We love it. It makes it all nice and clear and sharp. And honestly, this is a trick if you want your black to be even like more vibrant. If black could be any more, I mean, yes, black can definitely be vibrant. But if you don't feel like you're getting like the best black, try clear embossing over top of your black pigment ink. All right, so here I am. I'm going to take our oval stitch dies, and if you've been watching my videos for a minute, you know that I always rave about Ras & Bliss's nesting dies. I love them because not only do they have they're really tight dies and have lots of value to them. If you put two of them together, you get a frame. And there we go. So I'm going to use, that is the gray or the silver one. If I move it in the light, you'd see the nice shiny part of it. So I will do that at the end. I'm showing you how many times I check this pretty much. Oh no, I'm going to go and pencil mark where I need to color pretty much, so that I know I don't need to color. I don't have to color this whole thing. So it comes together a little bit quicker. All right. So here I am. I'm going to pull out some markers. I'm going to try and keep it to like 3 or 4 colors just to give myself a little bit of, um, if you go too many colors, it starts getting a little bit crazy. Also, then you're making a lot of choices. And here you can see like those two colors were a little too tight for me. So I ended up going a little bit darker on that purple. I am not going to show you the full thing of this. Again, I was not being super fussy about this. I was doing my darkest in the middle and then pulling it out with mid-tone and then going with a light. And some of the flowers were even so small that I literally just did a dark and a light pretty much, or like a mid-tone, and didn't worry about that too much. As you'll see by the end of this, it does get covered up a little bit, though it is one of the main focal points of this card. I just didn't want to fuss too much. You like I've said before, I've colored this background quite a few times, and I will not sugarcoat that it is, it does take a minute. It's not a hard color by no means, but there is many flowers on this one, so it does take a minute. But I feel like once you get like 3 or 4 colors down, then you need to put like a yellow at the top and a yellow at the bottom, and then a purple at the top and a purple at the bottom, and like kind of do trios of one color and then go in with a trio of the next color, and that really helps space out your colors, and so that so many of them are not touching. All right, we're going to start with our yellow. I felt like this one was the most, I guess, sunflower-ish one that I could find in there. I ended up doing a pink and a blue, like green-ish, like teal. And then I'll show you at the end because I believe I cut it here pretty quickly. Again, like I said, it is a lot of me just getting some color down and moving on. I like I said, I was trying not to be too fussy about this one. I love this color combination. This is like it's like a P3 RV260. Really love that color. And then we just went with a pretty much lighter one. I did have to scrub that color a little bit into that one to make it, fade, but also these are flowers. So flowers have lots of color variations to them. So don't worry too much about that one. As you can see, I keep on, as the colors dry a little bit, I'm like, that center's not dark enough. So I'll go back in with a little bit darker purple. And I think that looks so good. Also, don't forget that you can do variations of your colors. So when you pick out a good 3-color, 4-color combination, you could go with the darker version of that color, or use the completely lighter version of that color. And that way your color combinations definitely match. And that kind of is how it goes, in the natural world. Like all the flowers aren't going to look the same. All right, so we have it completely colored, and as you can see, that's how it's going to look. I'm going to cut my frame out of just some silver metallic paper. Put this down, get this lined up. I think it did move a little bit here when I was taping it down, and I didn't quite notice it, or it moved when I put it through my die cutting machine, unfortunately, because I did get one end that was a little bit thicker than the other. But again, I wasn't being that fussy. So you can see like that top part definitely moved down, and it probably did that in my die cutting machine when I was running that through. Put a little glue. I also did the frame bigger than the circle. So I took the smallest, the frame that fit it, and chose the bigger one, not the smaller one, so that my frame laid on the outside and not the inside. You could do it both ways. That is a personal preference. So don't forget that there's just multiple ways to do it, and whatever you kind of like. I also wanted to pop this up a little bit so that it added a little bit extra dimension to this card, but also kind of created that inlay. Normally, I do not put my glue on my adhesive, but I knew I needed a little bit of wiggle room when I was putting this down, because I did want the flowers to line up pretty well to make it look seamless, pretty much. So, and it was pretty easy when I didn't have the frame on there, but once I got that frame on there, it was a little bit harder. So, as you can see, my stamp probably did move, you know, from one card set to the next. So I just cut off the bottom one. That's okay anyways, because I have to put it on a card base. And the last thing that we're going to do, like I said, this is a pretty simple card other than the coloring. That's what took the longest out of this, is I'm going to cut the large thank you die cut 3 times out of just plain white cardstock. Bam. And pop, use, stack those for more dimension and just to make it pop a little bit. And put that on the card. And honestly, this card came together so well. I think that this could be a Mother's Day card, thank you card, sympathy card. This one could work very well for lots of different occasions. And I think I'm going to go back and, maybe make a few more. And honestly, if you stamped out the coloring portion of it and picked out a few colors of markers and just went and colored them on the couch while you watch a show, I think that would make the whole process go a lot easier, to tell you the honest truth. And then, you would have multiples. Look at how, I love that. I love how that popped up. Other ways to make this pop, I think adding some rhinestones or enamel dots would also make this card even more special. All right, guys, check out Brass and Bliss, and everything will be linked in the description below that I used in this card. Talk to you soon. Bye.